Thank you, President Folt, for such a warm introduction and for championing the central role that the performing arts play at a major research university such as USC. Thank you also to Provost Zukoski for enthusiastically welcoming me into the Trojan family. This university is uniquely positioned to lead the interdisciplinary, collaborative future of higher education with two such enthusiastic supporters of the arts at its helm. I'm also happy to report that the spirit of collaboration across disciplines and industries courses through every interaction I've had so far with the dream team of deans that graces this campus. Yes. I am also grateful for the support and leadership of both the USC Board of Trustees and the SDA Board of Counselors. It is an enormous honor to serve as the new dean of the School of Dramatic Arts, and I am moved by the trust you've placed in me to move this great theater school into the next 75 years of excellence and impact. Also with us today are some of the school's fondest supporters, whose vision and partnership make it possible for SDA to maintain its excellence and expand our impact. Finally, as anyone who knows anything about the dramatic arts is well aware, ours is the art of the human. An art form expressed through the human scale and a meditation on all the beauty and conflict that emerges from the fallibility of being human. And the USC School of Dramatic Arts is nothing without an amazing constellation of humans, the dedicated and consummate professionals who make up our faculty and staff. And I am grateful that so many of them are here with us today, particularly, and she's already been thanked, but it bears repeating, SDA's incredible Vice Dean, Lori Ray Fisher, who's, yes. She steered the SDA community through the darkest days of the pandemic, as well as now an honorary member of the SDA team, Elizabeth Daly, the legendary dean of the USC School of Cinematic Arts. Dean Daly led our school in an interim capacity, and more than that, has been incredibly generous in taking me under her most impressive wing. One of the aspirational ideas that the University of Southern California and the dramatic arts share is that of a close-knit family. In the theater, every production bands together a passionate, interdisciplinary group of collaborators who come together to create imaginative worlds that connect us to humanity's shared past, present, and future. And after every production, these intense and joyful family formations disband, only to be reassembled in new formations to prepare for the next opening night. None of these assemblages would be possible without our patient, understanding, offstage families. And I am so thankful that two of those family members, who also happen to be my biggest fans, are with us for this installation ceremony. My lovingly hilarious husband, Dr. Dennis Kim. He's the real entertainer in the family. And my mother and mentor, Margaret Colborn. My father, Theodore Colborn, a lifelong patron of the performing arts, and my 4 children, Lucy, Mac, Hope, and Chloe, could not join us today, but send their well wishes and applause from afar. When I first discovered the world of theater, it wasn't the applause that grabbed me. Don't get me wrong, the applause is wonderful. And it's hard, yes. That was an applause line, but I like it. It's hard to overstate the gift that theater people receive every time an audience allows us to make them laugh, to make them cry, to elicit a gasp of delight or despair, or to make them think and feel and connect in ways that don't always feel possible in the world outside the theater. But when I was 11 years old and a group of my middle school peers stopped me in the lunchroom to invite me to join their all-female ensemble for a musical theater piece they were creating based on Greek mythology, I had 2 simultaneous thoughts. 1, the idea of joining such an artistically ambitious project with a group of preteen girls was absolutely terrifying. And 2, there was no possible way that I could turn down the invitation to be part of their creative team. The more I learned about what it meant to be a theater person, the more that the dramatic arts seemed like a superpower. Clearly, I was hooked. And there was no possibility that I would turn my back on what makes this art form so powerful and so necessary. Now that I've arrived at USC, an audaciously ambitious institution whose communal identity is founded on Greek mythology and the brave promise to fight on, it feels as if my love affair with the dramatic arts have come full circle. I also tell this story because the superpower of theater people, which is as real and as imagined as the mythical but unrivaled Trojan family, is today more necessary than ever before. As Dr. Folt mentioned, much of my career has centered around being an artist and scholar of theater for social change and resistance. But the dramatic arts do this differently than other engines for change, and we are armed somewhat differently than other social justice warriors. In the wise words of Brazilian director Augusto Boal, founder of the world-famous Theater of the Oppressed, empathy is the most powerful weapon. Theatrical productions of all stripes extend an invitation to be present in our houses. The house, after all, is what we call the part of the audience, part of the theater, where the audience is present. And this term transcends mere jargon to suggest the ethos of hospitality that underwrites our craft. Audiences are invited into our houses to be more than just spectators. They're invited to reconnect with one of the most essential elements of humanity, what cultural theorist Johann Huizinga called homo ludens, humans as inherently playful creatures who understand the world around us through mimetic play. One has only to recall the fervor with which young children play house, reenacting and reimagining the family dynamics observed in the world around them, to be reminded how ingrained the dramatic arts are in human DNA. Yet the centrality of the dramatic arts to human nature and the historically central role that the theater has played in global society since ancient times seem to be receding from our collective consciousness with each passing year. Theater people often pride themselves on telling the truth, creating authentic representations of human life that Hamlet aficionados might describe as holding the mirror up to nature. Such authenticity can be a tough sell in today's world, when everyone thinks they're right, where no one can agree on what's true, and in which technology creates ever more judgmental echo chambers that ensure nobody ever has to listen to the other side. But it is precisely in this polarized and atomized landscape that theater people's superpower is most needed. The dramatic arts not only distill our most complex issues and most difficult dynamics down to the human scale, a perspective we all share as our birthright, it also stages the inevitable conflicts that emerge from the multiple perspectives that collide whenever human beings assemble. Moreover, instead of pathologizing or bemoaning this conflict, the theater celebrates conflict as the very engine of drama and elicits empathy as a way of strengthening our ability to understand ourselves, understand others, and thus move through conflict to solve our most intractable problems. But I would be remiss if I left you with the impression that our superpower only shows up in tragic dramas. Some of our most powerful interventions come from the second face represented on those iconic theater masks, comedy. SDA stands out among top drama programs in its embrace of comic performance and its deployment of comedy techniques such as improvisational theater and clowning to prepare USC students for careers ranging from engineering to business and to help community members such as juvenile patients and foster families. Improvisational theater, or improv for short, is probably the most difficult and most empowering acting genre to master, and it provides an important antidote to the isolation and alienation that characterizes too many of our interactions today. One improv principle is CORE, or CORE, and it stands for character, objective, relationship, environment. Improv performers are taught to invent entire worlds and stories simply by returning to the core of our humanity. Who are we? Our character. What do we want and need? Our objective. How does that intersect with those around us? Our relationships. And how does the world around us structure these dynamics? Our environment. Even with this core, inventing stories on the spot without a playwright or director, unsupported by costume or scenic designers, can be a bit like flying trapeze without a net. But the secret is that live audiences love watching performers adapt to given circumstances in the moment, alive to the present and focused more on connection and collaboration than perfection or being the one who's right. Sharing these vulnerable moments offers the opportunity for greater engagement and understanding, as well as a space of play in which we can embrace our mistakes and see each other as humans rather than opponents, examining our fellow human beings with interest rather than judgment. As the brilliant Black playwright Lynn Nottage describes her approach to making theater, replace judgment with curiosity. Or, as the famed public theater artistic director Oscar Eustis puts it, theater is not a commodity, it's a relationship. In other words, the dramatic arts are the birthright of every human being, and it is our obligation as theater people to find every opportunity to share this superpower with a world ever more in need of healing. At the School of Dramatic Arts, we fulfill this obligation by providing USC students with an education that embraces the full spectrum of theatrical possibilities, spanning mediums from the stage and screen to digital media and site-specific performance, bringing our art form to the industries and communities that need it most. We are proud to produce alumni who stage manage on Broadway and design costumes for Emmy-winning TV shows such as The Mandalorian. These accolades demonstrate the success of our rigorous pedagogy, which immerses SDA students in hands-on practice through an ambitious season of 20 main stage productions, combined with infinite possibilities for student-initiated content through our independent student productions, or ISPs. But SDA also stands out among top drama schools because we proudly proclaim that we can offer students the best of both worlds: artistic excellence taught by professional working artists and top scholars in the field, alongside impactful outreach programs that empower young theater artists to use their talents to affect social change. While this expansive vision meets the complex demands of the 21st century and the ever-increasing competition for audiences' attention from streaming services, video games, and virtual reality, it also represents a continuous lineage of practice that reaches all the way back to the origins of theater itself, not only in ancient Greece at the birth of Western democracy, but also in the Osiris rituals of ancient Egypt and the dance dramas of ancient Mayans, all of which use the cutting-edge technologies of their time to bring the dramatic arts to their communities. Likewise, today, under the mentorship of our head of comedy, Professor Zachary Steele, SDA trains students for our medical clowning program that performs healing interventions for patients in local hospitals. Under the mentorship of scenic design professor Sybil Wickersheimer, SDA students also apply the principles of theatrical design to the development of peace pods that draw on therapeutic research to offer women suffering from PTSD welcoming physical environments that aid their healing. And we use mediated technology such as digital theater, film, and motion capture to amplify our world-class acting, dramatic writing, and design capabilities to reach audiences around the world and platforms ranging from film festivals to 3D animation. We will always feel most at home performing for the darkened houses of purpose-built theaters such as USC's Bing Theater, which our musicals routinely sell out. But the dramatic arts are an ancient technology for healing that must expand beyond traditional venues and tap into current media to ensure that it remains relevant and accessible for the public good. But as we all know from the steady flow of superhero movies that flash across our screens, both big and small, every superpower can be used both for good and for evil. The superpower of theater people is no exception. The last 18 months have made us viscerally aware that our institutions and cultural organizations are nowhere near as diverse, equitable, and inclusive as we need them to be in order to realize the promise of a truly just and democratic society. From the racial reckonings that rocked cities around the world last summer to artistic movements such as Oscars So White and We See You White American Theater, we are in the midst of an undeniable call to action to expand our artistic families and our theatrical houses. In other words, we must broaden the tent, not only in terms of the stories we tell and who gets to tell those stories, who gets a seat at the family table, but also in terms of who is included in our audiences. SDA is uniquely positioned to lead our industry in terms of equity, diversity, and inclusion, or EDI. We are the first drama school to establish its own dedicated EDI office led by Professor Anita Dashiell-Sparks. And the diverse composition of our world-class MFA programs in dramatic writing and acting demonstrate a long track record of offering truly inclusive and equitable training to students of color who seek the rigorous dramatic arts education necessary to become master artists and teachers. Recently, this track record has extended to our renowned BFA Acting Conservatory, which enrolled a 2021 cohort that is 76% Black, Indigenous, people of color, or BIPOC, as well as our faculty, which recently became 30% more diverse through the recent addition of 4 master teachers that Dr. Folt mentioned earlier, Professors Bayo Akinfemi, Coleman Domingo, Michelle Shea, and Rodney Toe. SDA's depth of experience recruiting and mentoring diverse artists enables us to use the tools of theater to collaborate with our colleagues across campus and beyond USC as we all do our part to create a more just and equitable future. We routinely partner with USC schools such as the Price School of Public Policy and Keck School of Medicine to offer theater-based workshops that use embodied storytelling to visualize solutions and reality test, brainstorm solutions and reality test interventions using rehearsal, dialogue, and role play. Moreover, we are currently rolling these workshops out to Hollywood itself, offering interactive theater as a tool to help film studios and talent agencies diversify their creative teams and ensure more equitable and inclusive practices. One of the greatest compliments I've ever received was from a renowned voice teacher who told me I'm a leader who embodies the spirit of yes and. Yes and refers to another improv principle. It encapsulates the idea of answering any invitation to play with an affirmative statement. Yes, I accept your invitation, and here's what I can add to the collaboration. This spirit provides an alternative to our polarized society that has been programmed to instead answer yes, but. Long before I arrived, SDA embraced the collaborative spirit of yes and to invitations from campus and community partners, including one of my favorites, teaching improv to Viterbi students in order to make them better engineers. Now that I've joined the SDA team, I look forward to deepening these partnerships and discovering ever more creative opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration. Finally, I have the enormous privilege of becoming dean at the precise moment that SDA is preparing to break ground on its new drama center that will anchor the 34th Street Arts Corridor on our University Park campus. Located directly across from USC Village at the corner of Jefferson and Hoover, the gorgeous 1930s Romanesque building that previously housed the United University Church is being renovated for our new home, slated to open in 2023 with LEED certification and the utmost care to preserve its historic integrity while ensuring state-of-the-art creative spaces for SDA students to train, collaborate, and perform. In particular, the original sanctuary will be reimagined as a flexible-use performance venue for 110 spectators, where audiences can experience contemporary plays by artists such as Lynn Nottage, as well as Shakespeare, musical theater, and so much more, all the while appreciating the historic architectural elements such as the church's original arches, stained glass, and trusses. This melding of old and new is the perfect metaphor for SDA's vision and mission, amplifying and expanding theater's ancient technology of healing through a rigorous grounding in the theatrical craft. For instance, old meets new in the work of SDA faculty member Luis Alfaro, a MacArthur Genius Award-winning playwright and recently named Associate Artistic Director of Center Theater Group. The Greek Plays of Luis Alfaro, an award-winning collection of Professor Alfaro's adaptations of ancient Greek tragedies to the streets of the 21st century Los Angeles, were made available to quarantined audiences worldwide when Center Theater Group streamed performances of the trilogy. Today, Professor Alfaro is using his artistic leadership at Center Theater Group to commission emerging LA playwrights from diverse backgrounds to ensure that regional theater represents and reflects the communities that it serves. We look forward to our new drama center serving as a creative nexus for similar interventions when it opens in 2023. And we welcome the opportunity to invite all of you, indeed the entire USC community and our surrounding neighbors, to join us as collaborators and audiences in this reimagined cultural space. We are enormously grateful to President Folt, Provost Zukoski, the USC Board of Trustees, and our Board of Counselors, as well as SDA's many friends for supporting this new home for the dramatic arts. We look forward to extending our dramatic hospitality to every member of the Trojan family and hope you find yourselves at home at our live performances and multimedia productions. As we say here in Troy, fight on and see you at the show. Thank you.